Okay, so we are back and we are official here, and just want to make sure that everything's on point here, such as lighting, and which is pretty good, pretty bright. And want to make sure that everyone can hear me loud and clear, loud and clear. Wow, it feels so good as far as to be back, guys. And this is very, very exciting. Very, very exciting as well. So, first and foremost, happy Tuesday, everyone. And welcome back here for another installment of Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network podcast. I am your host here, Shawn A. White, and I am in a different sector as far as in my apartment. Want to kind of spice it up a little bit. I know you guys is used to seeing like the picture and the backdrop in which that's an amazing picture, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So to kind of spice it up. And we're going to go ahead and dive in, guys, to episode 175 of the Small Business Network podcast. And I want to talk to you all about the power of language. And I just believe that it's very fitting to have this conversation because as content creators, as entrepreneurs, as professionals, it's very, very important on this particular subject because obviously we all know that the words in which that we speak, it can either uplift someone or tear someone down. What we literally talk about can either bring you vast amounts of success, relationships, huge contracts, speaking engagements, etc., or what it can do, it can really derail you and it can repel individuals away from you. So let's have a conversation, if you will. If you can just jump in once again to Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network podcast. This is episode 175. Once again, I am your host here, Shawn A. White, in very chilly Atlanta, Georgia, where it is about 14 degrees. So they say, but it feels like it's below zero, almost like 30 or 50 degrees below zero. Man, whew. So I have my cup of tea, and we're going to have a conversation today. Do me a favor, if you will. If you catch this on the live, put in the hashtag live. Let all of us know on where you're from. And of course, if you're getting value out of this, and if you should happen to catch this on a replay, go ahead and put in the hashtag replay. Let's go ahead and jump into the power of language because I don't want to be on long, guys. I want to go ahead and start off and say that as being a radio and TV personality, along with many of the attributes in which that I have been blessed with, one of the things in which that I've learned when it comes to communication, the power of language is so important because when you're in that particular field, or when you have the airwaves, you have the people listening to what you're saying. Not only what you're saying, but how you're saying it is very important because you're sharing a message and you are sharing a story. You're providing information that you believe is relevant to your listening audience. And so with that, the power of language is very, very important and not to take lightly. And anyone that can tell you in entertainment, anyone that can tell you in the speaking realm or any kind of leadership, truly understand the importance of this because it can be, in fact, a major deal breaker. So let's go ahead and dive into this together. And so I actually had some notes, and it was something in which that I did. I remember I did a live stream on this, I believe, about a few months ago. And I just like this particular topic because it's something that we can never get to a point of saying that we're done, right? That we are there. We can always improve in all areas, but I truly believe especially in the power of language. So I want to go ahead and dive in, if you will. So if you just want to follow along, take notes, if you believe this can truly benefit someone, I would just recommend as far as for you to go ahead and tag that particular person or tag that particular group, but also as well, share this out as well. If you find this to be very valuable, please go ahead and share this out because I believe that this can definitely serve the multitudes. So with that being said, here we go, guys, the power of language. So what I wrote from before and prior, from the last time we had a conversation about this, is that when we speak, when it comes to communication, when it comes to language, doesn't matter if it's whether on the phone, doesn't matter if it's in person, doesn't matter even in our content that we create. Yes, that's right. If you're a content creator, you know the importance of posting and really gathering individuals' attention. I want you to think about this as being a reflection of our thoughts. Allow me to explain what I mean. Even when you're posting and you are promoting, say for instance, your business or your opportunity, you're expressing a reflection of your thoughts about this particular establishment or this particular brand or this particular product. A lot of times in my 12 years, what I have come to realize is that when we are posting, we're thinking more so of just getting it out there, right? Talking about the product and service, talking about as far as the benefits, talking about any particular deals that may be going on. And makes sense, right? It makes sense because your whole objective at that particular time as a rep or as an individual is to get the information out there. That's what you truly want. You want to get it out there to the multitude of masses as quickly as possible, as much as possible. That's pretty much the premise. But also, too, what I've discovered is that when people are reading the content, it's more so a reflection coming from your thoughts. Why? Because it's coming from your page. It's coming from your particular handle. So with that being said, when people are reading that, are they reading more so, excuse me, the brand, the ad, or whatever you're putting out there? Or is it more so of a reflection of you? When I realize that, it makes it, when it comes to creation, a bit more easier because now with that in the top of mind, it allows for me that when I'm creating, I'm asking myself, in which way is this serving the masses, right? Is this something that is only going to benefit me because, I'm just getting it out there and I want people to see? Or is it something that when people read it, regardless if it's a live stream, regardless if it's talking about radio and TV, regardless if it's talking about a Powerful on Purpose Summit, regardless if it's talking about the Equal Justice Summit, regardless of my coaching or anything else in which that I'm doing, my thought process is this serving anyone? Will anyone be able to get any value on that? So I want you to really think about that before you create any piece of content, or before you make that phone call, before you give out that flyer or that business card. Remember, anything in which that you're attached on, not only is it a representation of yourself, but it's also, it's also a representation of your thoughts as well that you're expressing to your potential client or customer. Does that make sense to anybody? Does that make sense? We have here Dr. James in the building. Welcome, my friend. And we also have here the one, the only Miss Cassandra Pickett in the house. I want to share something with you guys as well when it comes to the power of language. And I mentioned this before, and I just want to go ahead and go back to this. When it comes to our minds, ladies and gentlemen, I've come to understand, based upon my experience and with my research, that the subconscious mind, which is back here, is 88%, and thus the conscious mind, which is going to be the 12%. What does that mean to me, Shawn? What are you talking about? 88% subconscious mind, 12% conscious mind. What does that have to do with this topic? Well, allow me to explain. You see, because of the fact that we all notice that words can either pull us in or pull us back. It can either have us excited about what a person is saying, Or more so it's like, no, I'm not really feeling them, right? It's just something about them. When you are expressing anything, going back, alluding to what I was talking about earlier, when you're expressing anything, I want you to keep in mind that basically what you're doing when you are connecting with other individuals through the posting, through the content, through the reaching out, your whole objective and what you want to do is that you want to be on the top of people's minds. You want it to be where not only that it hits their conscious first, right? Because the logic, the reason, the decision making, right? Making that split second decision on whether this is valuable to me or not, right? That's going through the conscious part. That's going through the logic. Is this making any sense to what Shawn is even talking about right now? You're processing that information. What happens now, and this is what makes a person become of value, is through the repetition of the marketing, of the promoting, of just really getting out there, staying visible through the power of language. Now what happens, it slips back to their subconscious mind. So now, and I want you to think about this all. And I want you to think about on why you have so many followers. I want you to think about on why you have so many likes and so many comments. And why is it that when you create content, why people even go to your page to even like what you had to begin with? The reason being is because through their subconscious mind, you have placed value somewhere at some time to them. And they deem that to be of importance. Does that make sense to anybody? So the power of language, the words that we speak, because we all know that it's very powerful. And a lot of times, from what I've known to understand, you're most certainly, are able to agree to disagree. But I notice a lot of times, especially with the words in which that we speak, it's very important because it's all about which direction you want for that particular person to go. Are we using empowering language or are we using disempowering language? Allow me to explain. Empowering language, any form of communication, is more so to uplift, right? To inspire, to give value, as an example. If you notice here, as I'm doing this live stream and as I'm just having a talk, in a way, it's kind of informative, kind of educational, but at the same time, it's very empowering. It's nothing to where it's putting a person down. If anything, the whole purpose of the series that's being created, the Power Series, is to enlighten, is to inform, is to even educate as well, to give people a different perspective. So it's very empowering. The disempowering language, and this is something too that we can even look at even within ourselves, not even so much towards individuals, is that saying words such as negativity, such as, you know what, Cassandra? Yeah, I could have did that speech, but you know what? I was super busy and, I wasn't really thinking about it. Or, you know what, Dr. James, like, I'm not sure if this is something which I really want to do, because I just don't know. And maybe, right? I want you to think about those words, right? And they're just regular words, but when we give it power, right? And not in the right way, but it's disempowering. I want you to think about how does it make you feel? It's funny. A lot of us as entrepreneurs, and by the way, we're all creators. It took me a long time to really come to that realization. But as creators, we have so much power in this. It even speaks about it as far as in any scriptures in which that you may follow, right? There's power in the tongue. The words that we put out there in the atmosphere, it's out there in the atmosphere and we cannot take it back. I believe we have to be very strategic when we're reaching out to clients, when we're speaking with clients, potential clients, the information that we are putting out there in the atmosphere that we want for individuals to see. We have to be very strategic about that, and the reason being because there's power in that. As I mentioned, what happens, it reaches a conscious mind, right? The logic, the reasoning, the decision making. And then what happens over the course of time when a person keeps seeing this, it goes back into the subconscious mind, because now they have a filter in place. So every single time that they hear from you or they see your content, it gives them a memory on whether they either like what you have, they either like you as an individual, or they dislike you. And obviously the goal of anyone as a creator, anyone that's looking to achieve anything in this life, is for people to be attracted to you and what you have. Make sense, everyone? Yep, conscious mind, the reasoning and logic. You got it, Cassandra. You got it, you got it. So what can you do? What can you do? Right? We understand the power of language. We understand conscious and subconscious. We understand empowering versus disempowering. But what can we do to turn that around, to get better at this? Well, for one, I want to ask you, during the course of your day, and I want you all to be completely honest, because it's definitely going to help you out towards your mission in 2024. Is the words in which that I'm saying to myself empowering? Is the information that I'm releasing out there empowering, inspiring? Is it something of value? Is the books and the content that I am subjecting myself to, whether you're reading books, whether you're listening to audios, movies, documentaries, etc., is that empowering to my spirit? Is it allowing for me to learn? Is it allowing for me to get better as an individual, as an entrepreneur? And if the answer is no, then the question is why? Why not? I did a technique with a gentleman, and I won't mention his name. But I did a technique with him about a couple weeks ago, and I love this technique. It's actually called the Paris window. It is something that, when it was introduced to me and going through this particular technique, I realized a lot of great things. And even to this day, I still do the Paris window, because it's something that's very powerful. And it really allowed for me to open up and see things from a different perspective, especially when it was a particular issue that I was stemming with at that time. So if that's something that is of interest, and by all means, if you are intrigued about it, then after this live stream is done, go over and send me over a message, and we can definitely set up a time where we can actually go through that exercise. It's something that I highly recommend, and I absolutely love it, and it's one of my go-tos. But also, too, I want you guys to even speak on this as well, and ask yourself this question, Cassandra or anyone else. Is the thoughts or the words in which I'm speaking of myself, is it full of prosperity? Is it full of abundance? If it's full of gratitude, is it laughter? Is it happiness? What is your thought process throughout the course of the day as life is taking place, right? What is your most dominant thoughts? And then, with that being said, whatever that you want to become, right? Whatever you want to become, whatever it is that you want to shape your life to be, I want you to think about those thoughts that you're speaking about and the words in which that you're using through the power of language, and really start shaping it. What are you thinking? What are your most dominant thoughts? Correct. You want to know what my most dominant thoughts was today, family? And I'll share this with you, and then I'll go ahead and start landing the plane, as they say, right? My most dominant thoughts today was, how can I create content that's going to continue to add value, that's going to move the needle, and that's going to continue to grow my brand and my business? And so earlier, the Power Series came about. Another spiritual download by the Creator. And then from there, he just allowed for me just to play and explore with that idea. And here you go, family. The Power Series. So I'm going to go ahead and close with this, guys. And then we'll make a few announcements and then we'll be out of here. I'm going to close with this. We're in the early part of 2024. And there's a lot of great things going on. There is most certainly, in my opinion, an energy shift that has been taking place. And I just see a lot of individuals that's doing just amazing and fantastic stuff. And some of you guys that's on here are doing amazing and fantastic stuff as well. I want to ask you, as we moving forward towards this month, the thoughts in which that you have towards your business, towards your brand, towards your life, towards other areas of your life, are they empowering? Are you speaking life into that? Are you speaking victory? Are you speaking happiness, excitement, and joy? Or are you thinking and speaking of dread, despair, worry, anxiety, uncertainty, fear? That's something to ask yourself, for sure. So I'm glad that someone got some insight about this. As I mentioned, family, if you feel this is very insightful, if you feel this is very valuable, please do me a favor. Go ahead and tag at least 2 people that you feel that can benefit from this. And also go ahead and share this out as well. Because I just believe that this can truly benefit someone as well. See? Look at that, Cassandra. Great minds normally think alike, right? And that's normally the case. There's a certain synergy to that. There's a certain energy about that. Which, by the way, that's actually going to be one of my next topics. We're going to be talking about synergy and energy. Synergy and energy. So definitely stay tuned for that as well. I believe that either be tomorrow or Thursday. So definitely stay tuned. A couple announcements, guys. The Powerful on Purpose Summit, hosted by Dr. Tabitha Russell, where there's going to be myself and a number of powerhouse speakers, will be in beautiful Columbia, South Carolina, February 24th of 2024. If you haven't had a chance to purchase your tickets, by all means, please feel free to reach out to me. If you can't be there in person, I believe that we do have virtual seating, but I must tell you that time is of the essence because tickets are selling out extremely fast, guys. So if this is something that you're interested in, you'd like to know more information, please feel free to reach out to me. Also, as well, the Equal Justice Summit, we have that finalized. It's going to be for the first weekend of March, the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd of 2024. Located in beautiful downtown Atlanta at the King Center. We're going to be speaking on a multitude of different topics such as like human rights, environmental rights, in addition to social injustice reform. If this is something that's of interest to you, by all means, please feel free to reach out to me as well. I'm going to be sending out marketing material in addition with the website on how you can register and find out more information. I'm very excited about that because I get an opportunity as being the youth coordinator to speak to the young adults. So that's always a special place in my heart to be able to give back as far as to the youth. Because why? Somebody did it for me. And so that's going to be fantastic. And also too, for anyone that's on here, if you are looking as far as to take part in having radio, TV opportunities, to have your own channel built where you can have your brand and your message shared on the airwaves on a weekly basis, please reach out to me as soon as possible. There is slots available, but from what I can tell you guys, we fill up quickly. This is the real deal. Now, obviously, we all know radio and TV does cost, but we do have packages that can suit each and every single entrepreneur needs. So if you are serious about boosting your business to another level on top of what you're already doing, please feel free to shoot me a message or reach out to any one of my fellow colleagues. And many other exciting goodies in store as well. So until then, family, this concludes episode 175 of Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network podcast. It is always a joy and a privilege to be speaking with you. I'm just glad to be over what I was over. I tell you guys, whew, all I can say is this on that regard. Gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And it just lets me know that God is not done with me yet. It's just getting started. So until then, if what I stated on here either motivated, transformed, or inspired at least one person, then may God be the glory, and I take no credit for absolutely none of it. Until then, you're all amazing. I appreciate you all. Cassandra, if you have some time today, definitely let's go ahead and connect tonight, or if not tomorrow, to keep on working on what you have going on, because I just see tremendous potential in that. So whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and do this. And until then, family, thank you so much for your time. Peace and love, and stay warm. Stay warm out there, family. All right. Have a blessed one. Good night, everybody.